My name is Bronson Dameron. I'm the Director of Content. I'm hopping in here today and I'll be speaking with Joe Rice, the VP of Partnerships on Screencloud. Joe, if you could introduce yourself a little bit, give us a little bit of your background and help us get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, sounds great. I appreciate the opportunity to join you folks. So I'm Joe Rice. I head up partnerships at Screencloud. In short, we're a cloud-based digital signage solution helping organizations improve communication and engagement with their employees. And we tend to focus and help a lot with organizations with large frontline or deskless workers who don't have access, lack access to desktops and mobile apps when they're doing their daily job. And thus our tie-up integration partnership with Awardco. So I've spent the last 5 or 6 months getting the integration ready, and which it is now, which is exciting. So excited to be here and talk about that and the importance ultimately of getting recognition up on screens so everyone can see it.
Joe, I'm curious, when you think of frontline, how do you define frontline as in terms of in a professional setting?
Yeah, we tend to use the term deskless, but frontline works. But those are just folks who don't sit at a desk or in front of a computer all day or at all. They tend to work on a manufacturing floor, a warehouse. They could be wandering around. They could be in medicine at a hospital. But they get information through other means than a computer in most cases. So that the challenge is, how do you reach folks and communicate with them when they're wandering around a building or a campus for most of their day?
Yeah, and I think that I read a study, maybe you can corroborate this. I read a study a few months back that said that a vast majority of workers around the world are not attached to a computer. And maybe that's like unsurprising in some respects, so that it's, well, yeah, most people aren't in front of a computer. But I'd still think that that's worth mentioning, that so many people aren't connected to a computer daily and they need other ways to experience recognition.
That's right. Yeah. Most estimates arrive around that 80% number. So 80% of the global workforce, is not desk-based. And when you dive into that more, it's fascinating. We talk a lot about technology to make us more efficient. AI is all the craze now, and how will that change jobs and make us more productive and whatnot. But up until this point, anyway, only about 1% of corporate enterprise IT spend has actually been focused on technologies for deskless workers. So we have this giant workforce, 80% of the workforce, give or take, and yet there hasn't been a lot of investment in their productivity and communicating to them. So I think that's quite interesting.
How do you set up the recognition on TVs, and how do you get the text to the recognition text on there? How does that specifically work, and is it difficult? Is it rather simple to kind of engage with? What does that look like?
Yeah, so excuse me. For time, I'll give you the very abridged version, but basically, with Screencloud, we're a content management system that allows you to manage content and create content and then cast it, push it to screens. And we have a little player app that you would download onto screens, very much as you do with Netflix or Disney Plus. At that point, once we have a connection to the screen, we can then share that content or push that content down to the screen, if you will. In terms of our integration with Awardco, once you're a customer of both, we simply have a little key, a secret key that you would input, and that would allow us then to make that connection. And then what we can do is based on the location, make sure we're pushing the right recognitions to the right screens. Obviously, you don't want to recognize people in the Canadian office that are actually based in Mexico, or you give me some idea.
We appreciate your attendance. Thank you for all your questions and your comments and your participation. And we hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.